Okay, we start. In the previous chapters, we talked about non-attachment to the ego. Non-attachment to the ego, to the fourfold concept, fallacious concept. Remember, we have to let go of the ego, personality, beings, and life. We have clear-cut definitions of what they mean. And previous chapters would talk about non-attachment and the emptiness of dharmas, the emptiness of all things. Form is empty. Why is form empty? We already explained it. We see things, we see His emptiness. We see its true reality. We don't see things and attach to them. So, we see the emptiness of Dharma. We see the emptiness of all things. If you don't see the emptiness of all things, you attach to them. And we already explained in detail what emptiness means. Asvabhava, no self-nature, no real self-nature. It does not have a real self-nature. By seeing non-attachment and seeing that all dharmas is empty and without any self-nature is not enough. So section 18 goes on to say something more. Some people might fall into the emptiness of an ego, of no ego and the dharma. But if you always talk about emptiness and no dharma, then some people may mistakenly fall into the trap of it's all empty. So as long as I see emptiness, as long as I can save myself by getting into nirvana, because I stop all my mental afflictions, I eliminate all my mental afflictions, I follow the Sravaka's path and practice, and then I get out of the ocean of life and death. I get out from the reincarnation because I perceive emptiness, no more attachment of the ego, complete elimination of ego, then I become the Arahant. Then I'm safe. I'm liberated. I'm okay. I get out from the ocean of life and death. I'm in nirvana. I'm in enlightenment. No more suffering for me. But that's not enough. That's not enough. You got to go back to the ocean to save all your folks, because you steer out from the Dhammakaya ship to that shore of enlightenment. You reach that shore, but a true Bodhisattva would come back again to the sea to save all these other folks who get drowned. In other words, you don't fall into the emptiness. You don't attach to the shore. You don't want to attach to the ship. That's why you go on shore. Now you attach to that shore. Even that shore, don't attach to it. Come back to help all your folks who are still not being liberated. So, since everything is empty and there is not even Dharma that we should attach to, some people may fall into self-salvation and forget about liberating other sentient beings. Here the Buddha brings in the concept of the 5 eyes to remind practitioners of meditations. Not only should we see with the human eye, the Deva eye and the wisdom eye, we should see with Dhamma eye and the Buddha eye, the 5 eyes. So now the Buddha brings in the concept of the 5 eyes. But let's read the paragraphs first. Subhuti, what do you think? Does the Tathagata possess human eyes? Yes, well-honored one. The Tathagata possess human eyes. Subhuti, what do you think? Does the Tathagata possess Deva eye? The Tathagata is another epithet for Buddha. Yes, well-honored one. The Tathagata possess Deva eye. Subhuti, what do you think? Does the Tathagata possess wisdom eye? Yes, well-honored one. The Tathagata possess wisdom eye. Subhuti, what do you think? Does the Tathagata possess Dhamma eyes? Yes, well-honored one. The Tathagata possess Dhamma eyes. Subhuti, what do you think? Does the Tathagata possess Buddha eyes? Yes, well-honored one. The Tathagata possess Buddha eyes. So here, the concept of the 5 eyes are being introduced in here. Why 5 eyes? What is this 5 eyes? The human eye, which is our physical eye, the human eye, and then the Deva eye, some people call it the divine eye, which is the eye seeing things hundreds of miles away. Some deva, they may see things in other galaxies also. Why and how come? It seems mystical, it seems unbelievable, but we'll go on to explain it. And then the wisdom eye, we also call it the prajna eye. Those who study Prajnaparamita will know. Prajna eye, that means the eye with the supreme wisdom. And then there's also the Dhamma eye. The Dhamma eye sees not only the truth of emptiness, but also see the truth of provisional reality of all existence. Not only does it have the wisdom of emptiness, but also the non-attachment to emptiness and the non-attachment to not emptiness. And then the Buddha eye. The Buddha eye, which includes whatever is seen by the other four eyes. And the Buddha eye, of course, if we use this common English to explain it, the Buddha eye is what? Is omnipotent, having all the powers, omnipresence, it presence everywhere, and omniscience. Omniscience is what? Knowing all. It knows everything. We humans have the physical eye, the devas have the divine eye, the arahats have the wisdom eye, the bodhisattva have the Dhamma eye, and the Buddha, of course, have the Buddha eye. We humans have the physical eyes. Now let's start with the physical eyes. Subhuti asked the question, Buddha asked the question, Subhuti, what do you think? Does the Tathagata possess human eyes? And then Subhuti answered, yes, world honor one. The Tathagata possess human eyes. Let's analyze the five eyes. We all know that the human eyes, or the physical eyes, have sight limitation. We're not just talking about the human eyes. Our eyes see the near, but not the far. I can see as near as here. I don't know. If unobstructed, I can see a vision of, I don't know how many yards. Scientists can tell me. Different animals have different vision, different sight. And we claim that human eyes can see quite far away. But the eagle's eyes can see even further. They can see miles away with a little sesame seed. They can see 1 or 2 miles away and they can fly and pick it up. They are from the sky and they can see. So you know that the physical eyes have limitations. And we don't claim our eyes to be the best eyes because our eyes are, not even comparable to some of the animals' eyes. For example, the eagle's eyes. They have much keener sight. So we have limitations. Our eyes see the near but not the far, the front and not the back. I can see this door right here. I can't see the door at the back. We can see the outside but not the inside. I see this column, I can see the outside, but I can't see through. I don't have X-ray eyes. I can see it, I cannot see the inside. I can see in the light, but I can't see in the dark. But surprisingly, some animals can. Bats, but bats don't see. Bats hear and they use vibration to detect enemies or like that. So, the human eyes perceive objects usually in the realm of desire. And we use our physical eyes in the satisfaction of our desires because we live in the desire realm. Remember, we're studying Buddhism that we live in the 3 realms, the Kama Dhatu, Rupa Dhatu, and Arupa Dhatu. The Kama Dhatu is, Dhatu means realm or land. It's a Sanskrit word. And it means we live, all of us, we live in the Kama Dhatu, which is the land of desires. We have all kinds of desires. But desires sometimes have good desires, and sometimes we have bad desires. Desire is not just bad. I desire to help people. I desire to do charity. I desire to be responsible for my family. I desire to do a good job. But don't misunderstand desire. When the Sutra says eliminate your desire, it does not mean it's pessimistic and negative. No desire eliminates your bad desire, not your good desire. Your desire to be helpful, how can that helpful desire be eliminated? You have to keep that helpful desire. So not all desires are bad, but usually we use our eyes to satisfy our desires. We desire to see pretty things, our eyes see pretty things, and when we see pretty things, we attach to them. When we attach them, we want to acquire them. And if we don't have the ability to acquire them, we steal. And we use our physical eyes to do good and bad things. And in most cases, we use them to do bad things. Of course, you can find many examples like that. So the physical eye have limitations. We sentient beings, this is just a simile, we live in the world with desires. We want to satisfy our desires. Sometimes if our thinking is not in the right track, we gear our desire in the wrong path and we try to satisfy them. We may do some criminal doings because of the satisfaction of this desire. I don't have money, I'm out of a job, I need money, I pass by a house, and I think I can break in that house and I can steal as much as possible, and I have money to satisfy my desire. What consequences this will come out? I don't really care. I only care about what I want, how to satisfy my desire. Now that's karma. And you get into that house, you break in, the owner comes out, and is involved in a fight with you, and by mistake, you hurt him or you kill him. Then because of this one little desire of getting some money, you're involved in killing. You're involved in hurting other people. You wind up in jail. Or you wind up in some terrible punishment. Because you are on that abrupt, urgent moment that you can't control yourself. You can control your mind because your mind goes astray to satisfy your material desire. So isn't it important to control your mind, to know your mind, to gear your mind to the right path? How many people do know? Many people say, I can control, my mind is in me. I am the master of my own mind. Yes, you also master your own mind to do criminal stuff, to get into trouble. So, this human eyes or physical eyes sometimes is the origin of troubles. So do we have these human eyes? Yes, we have. Well, on the one, we have the human eyes. That's why we are humans. But we've got to acknowledge the limitation of these eyes. And we go further. We ask the question, do we have the Deva eye? What is a Deva eye? And we finished discussion of the human eye. We know it has limitations. We know that we use that eye as the satisfaction of our desire, bad or good. And then the Buddha said, do we have the Deva eye? The Tathagata, the Buddha, has the Deva eye? And then Subhuti said, yes, of course, the Buddha has the Deva eye. Now what is this Deva? D-E-V-A. Deva eye. Deva, remember we have the world of desire, which is the Kama Dhatu, and then Rupa Dhatu, and then Arupa Dhatu. Deva, to some people who like to associate with heavens and guardian angels, we say Deva are guardian angels, or some people call them God. They are a higher level of existence. We are a lower level of existence. They are a higher level of existence which we call heaven. But they are not the ultimate place to go. They are still subject to life and death. They enjoy much more happiness than we humans. They live much longer than we humans. And they have more power than we humans. But they're not ultimate. They still have to die when the time comes. But they have their eyes are not similar to our eyes. Their eyes are called the Deva eyes. The Deva eye actually is the first of the 5 supernatural powers acquired by those whose spiritual practices center around meditation. In other words, if you always meditate, if you're successful, you may attain the Deva eye now. If you're successful in your meditation, if you always practice meditation. So, even though you're not a Deva, you're not a Buddhist, if you practice meditation and become successful in achieving samadhi, you may acquire these 5 natural powers, not just the Deva eye. There are anyone who practices meditation, the mind exercise, anyone who practices meditation, even if you don't believe in the Buddhist teaching, you believe in any other religions, if you practice meditation, you still acquire those 5 supernatural powers. But meditation is not acquire those powers. Those are just the byproduct of meditation. If you attach to these 5 supernatural powers, you have attachment. But this supernatural power would come when you have samadhi. It's a byproduct of it, not the final product of it, it's the byproduct of it. What are these 5 natural powers? Now, we're still talking about the Deva eye. I'm not talking about the wisdom eye and the Dhamma eye and the Buddha eye. Now I divert my talk to this one Deva eye, which is related to other 5 supernatural powers in meditation. When you meditate for a long time, very in-depth meditations, you acquire these 5 supernatural powers. What's the first one? It's the Deva eye, wherein you can see things as far as hundreds of miles away, or even things in other galaxies. Unbelievable. But that's only you see it in your samadhi. In other words, I'm meditating now, and I see the parking lot because I'm in my samadhi. I'm meditating now, and I see heaven. You are in samadhi, but you see things. I'm meditating now, but I see my home. Oh, my husband is cooking. Oh, my children is playing. Well, you have that Deva eye in your meditation. It happens a lot of times to a lot of people. It does not mean that you carry your own eyes and you go around and you can see, right now, even not in meditation, not in samadhi, you can see galaxies, not that. You have to be in samadhi. You have to be in that stage. You're meditating. I'm meditating now. I have a friend, I'm thinking of a friend in San Francisco. Oh, I see him. He's shopping. He's shopping. That's Deva eyes. You can see him actually many miles away. Now, that's the power of divine vision. The second supernatural power, the power of unimpeded bodily action. What does it mean? If you achieve a certain level of meditation, you're meditating here in this temple, you could appear at the same time at home. 2 bodies. You can appear at the same time at home. But that's in a very high level. When you meditate, don't say, I want to get that supernatural power. Then there's attachment. Then that's not right. It just comes. It comes when it comes. You don't attach and desire it to happen. And some people use these supernatural powers to help others. And if you acquire these supernatural powers, you don't air it out. You keep it to yourself. It's confidential. If you meditate for years and suddenly, oh yeah, I acquire some of these powers. If you start to blurt it out, you lose it. Why? Because you start to be egoistic. Because you usually acquire these supernatural powers when you are selfless, without an ego. Now, you want to exaggerate your ability, you're accumulating your ego and it's gone. No more supernatural power. You see what I mean? So, That's the power of unimpeded bodily action. Sometimes just this power, people can fly. People can go deep down to the ocean. Unimpeded bodily action. You believe that people can fly? There are people, if you refer back to some ancient Sanskrit, there are people who can just fly in the air. There's unimpeded body action. Unbelievable. There's so many things that's unbelievable in this world. And not even science can prove it. Okay? Third power, the power of divine listening, with which you can hear all the words spoken by all sentient beings. Listening. The fourth is the power of awareness of minds of others. So if I'm in samadhi, if I'm always in samadhi, if I'm talking to you, and if I am still in samadhi, I read your mind. Oh, time's up. I haven't even. I only finished the Deva eye. I plan to finish the 5 eyes, and I just finished the Deva eyes. So time is relative. And so let me finish these 5 supernatural powers. So the power of divine vision, which is similar to these Deva eyes, the power of unimpeded bodily action, the power of reading other people's mind. So if you're always in meditation, you can read people's mind. Sometimes it happens. Some people can read people's mind by facial expression. That is sort of supernatural power. Some people can read other people's mind by just feeling it. That happens to a lot of people. But if you are deep in your meditation, the intensity of this power gets more powerful and more powerful. The fifth is the power of knowledge of previous lifetimes, whereby you know the events of countless kelpers of previous lifetimes experienced by yourself as well as by all others. In other words, I meditate and I'm in samadhi. Oh, my last life I was a monk in Thailand. Oh, my last life before, I was a soldier in Tibet. So you read your past lives. You know your past lives in your samadhi, in your meditation. So these are the 5 powers, supernatural powers, that the practitioner of meditations, they can achieve. But don't attach to it. It comes when it comes. Don't try to grab it. It would be wonderful if I can get this unimpeded bodily action. I can get down to the sea and fly up to the sky. Now, if you have that self to attach, you'll never get it. Because this power comes from an egoless state of mind. In other words, you don't have the ego anymore. That comes from there. If you try to be greedy about getting the supernatural powers, you never get it. The Buddha and some high level of Bodhisattvas have 6 natural powers, supernatural power. There's just 1 natural power more. What is that natural power? They have that power that is called the extinction of contamination, which means that no more mental afflictions. No more mental afflictions. They will be able to be out from life and death. They're no longer subject to rebirth. That's the 6th supernatural power. Now all these 5 powers, divine vision, divine listening, and unimpeded bodily action, reading other people's mind, and knowledge of previous lifetime, all these could be achieved by anyone who is in deep meditation. The degree of the power varies. Some people have a little bit of this power. Some people high level, because you are in a high level. You are selfless. You're not egoistic. It's just like, imagine you're living in that wall of egoism surrounding you. And some people practice meditation to break this ego wall, to break off 5 inches of the break, and they peep out. They see, but the vision is small. So that power is limited. You can't see everything. You can only see a diameter of 5 inches. 5 inches, you can see that vision. Your power is less. But if this meditator practices more and more, they crumble down a lot more, they can see more, and finally, this arahant, the whole wall of ego crumble, unrestricted view. You see this? You see what I mean? So it depends on the degree of your meditation. And this 6th power can only be achieved by the Buddha and the neighboring level of the Bodhisattvas. What is this? No more life and death. No more mental afflictions. Nirvana, we call it. Nirvana, extinction of contamination. Remember when I say Om Mani Padme Hum, I gave the simile that it's polluted. No more pollutants. One purity. Not a single trace of pollutants. That's the Buddhahood.